Start the recording, TST meeting. So we've got two agenda items. Now someone else has something else to suggest. Um, One of them is a proposal to rescope, I guess is one way of saying it, the Volta effort. Um, so thought I'd give Blaine a chance to talk about that, and then open the floor up. Before we do that, are there other agenda items? We've got the Bose collaborator agreement or proposal. Is there anything else? Okay, let's jump straight into the vanilla Volta discussion. Blaine?
Um, Ali's very familiar with this. We've been talking about it for about a year now, but the Volta concept was intended to be more than just the OLT, and we have a need now this year to bring in GFAS support, and also we're introducing in the industry open OMCI standard that our peers, Sumitra is working on, and in the BVF, and we'd like to bring that into Volta as well. Those are the two main concepts, or not concepts, but the main points of vanilla. The name is not so specific. After Volta came out, we were going back and forth on the name, and vanilla is kind of the one a few of us liked. I don't know, but I know Ali prefers just keeping it Volta, and it is pretty predominant throughout the code. So that's at a high level what we're talking about. Any questions before I can kind of go through, if you can give me right so I can share my screen?
Yeah, just a second.
Or if you want to share it either way, you got the.
No, we're done.
Yeah, I just need to remember how to do it. There we go. You should have the right now. Oops, now you should.
All right. So let me know when you're seeing it.
Yep, got it.
Okay. So this was kind of built off of the original Volta proposal that Ali and Zolp did, and taking it into adding in OMCI, also adding in. I'm going to have another proposal proposing an access manager for device management. There's kind of this gray area between what's in ONUS and what's in our existing EMS systems and what goes into orchestration. And there's some pieces we're still going to work through and make a proposal for that. So the original intent for the pond manager to be split between an ONUS extension and the components inside of vanilla. I know it didn't come across clear in the requirements, so I was going to try to add some clarity to that. And Radisys has expressed interest in supporting that functionality, and we're going to work through that with them on creating a proposal for that. But we, again, open OMCI, and I believe also Verizon announced open OMCI spec too. So I'm not sure how different those are. I thought we were collaborating with them on that.
So from a Volta, beyond Volta, is it fair to say that this reduces to the for example, a G.fast adapter, and there's this sort of gray area as to what gets split between ONUS and the access manager, but otherwise, from a purely Volta vanilla point of view, it's saying let's extend the scope to include other adapters.
Yeah, along with that would go to, just like the pond management extensions inside of ONUS, there'd need to be a G.fast extension. Also, there's concept that we're going to be introducing called Open Virtual DPU, which reduces the set on the DPU itself, the software based on the DPU itself, and that's going to be a later proposal coming out. So that I see being extended into this Volta core or vanilla. One of the other big things I forgot to say is on here is that we've already started deploying GFast, and a lot of the GFast hardware is already built with netconf support, and a lot of to support existing deployments that may not get a specific driver adapter, or maybe a different provider might want to use a netconf managed device and use this as a PMAA perspective. Adding a netconf adapter would allow us to eliminate and standardize on this common basis software. Sorry, I forgot. That was another big thing in this one as well.
Oh.
Because fundamentally, it's providing the same capabilities as the PMA relationship for our DPUs, but in an optical space. Well, when we introduced this back before, the intent was to kind of have that same capability across multiple accesses. The original priority was Volta. So now we're reintroducing the priority for the other access technologies. Should step it back a little bit. Sorry about that. So adding the green components pretty much is what I'm seeing, the changes to the existing Volta, which would be the GFast adapter, a netconf adapter, GFast management, and then the open OMCI components. Those are the main additions in vanilla.
So something, Ali should speak up here as well. Something that I've never, I guess, quite understood is, I mean, the adapters are clear, but the core extensions, can someone explain what it means to add a G.fast management extension to the core?
So, I mean, I don't know about G.fast, but for the OMCI part, it's just you can look at it as just a OMCI message library, which is used by the adapters to talk to the ONU and be able to communicate with the ONU and provision it the right way. It's just a library.
Oh, okay.
I would assume for the G.fast management, I would assume it's a similar thing. The question I had is why do we need a netconf adapter in the southbound of vanilla?
So we've already started deploying the first phase of GFast, and we have a PMA architecture going in, and then we were getting ready for 212, and we were going to put Volta requirements on that. Now, it's more of, for us, it would be more of a bridge between the two, the old and the second generation, to use a common platform. But I could see other companies that want netconf device or netconf support in their devices, which we do have other groups in the company that for like the radio equipment for NGFW have focused on in-device netconf support rather than abstracting that out. I agree with you, Ali. I'm trying to get that away from that, but we've already got kind of that ball rolling. And I want to try to pull it into the same persistent stack and extensibility from protocol and data collection, so we could do it all the same. That was kind of the goal from my perspective.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's okay if we just have a netconf adapter. Actually, I know of one vendor that actually already has a netconf southbound for Volta. If only they.
Adfran?
I'll let you say names. I'm not going to say any names, but But
Y-
yeah, so I mean, that's fine. You know, that's fine as long as it's like if you keep in mind that like it's just a way of like moving from what you have today to what you presumably will have going forward, um, then that's fine.
Yeah, that is my intention with it. But I can't speak for other carriers and providers might want to just use that and run with it.
Okay.
So the OMCI code in that currently exists in Volta, does this OMCI add stuff to it for G.fast? Is that what it is, or is it a completely separate component?
Now, OpenOMCI is not GFAST related. That's for the existing PON stuff. The standard has been under development for a year now, so the documents are plan on being ready and released in the next I think like May, I think is when we're releasing it.
So you're saying that the OMCI code that is existing in Volta right now may not be exactly the standard open OMCI spec that is coming out later? Is that what
Yes.
Okay.
It may not be. Yeah, the intent is that it's an interoperable OMCI model, and today some of the ONUs are not. So I'm sure it's not dramatically different than what's in there today.
Right. The OpenOMCI is going to use only the standard MEs. That's kind of our target. Like Blaine said, we're still tweaking them. Should be available, pretty soon.
Thanks for speaking up there, Smita.
Ali, what? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Ali for his thoughts.
You mean my thoughts on vanilla and extending to G.fast and stuff like that?
Yeah, the whole proposal.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I mean, like Blaine said, we've been talking about this for a year. I'm not wed to either name, vanilla or Volta or whatever. That's fine. That's fine by me. I think G.fast is I mean, yeah, I mean, makes absolute sense that we extend it to G.fast. I would even argue that Volta should be extended beyond access and actually get into fabric stuff, but that's a much larger story for the future. But yeah, so I'm totally in favor of this.
That was my thought too when we first started talking about this. But yeah, it's a bigger battle that I cannot take on right now with our internal organizations. But if we show value in this segment, I have mentioned that with them. But
Are you talking about getting like extending the Volta's footprint into programming switches as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean that's a it's a more scary conversation to have with people, I would think. But
yeah, and I'm staying in the access scope for right now. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would as well.
So this seems all like a natural thing to do. I don't know. Are there any specifics you want to talk about? I mean, I don't have any horse in the race on names or anything like that. It doesn't really. It does make sense that it's generalized, but maybe leave the code just the way it is. It wouldn't be the first time we had a project / system whose repository name was different.
Yeah, the only issue with the vanilla name is that like it's. I mean, this may sound silly, but it's just like if you search vanilla on Google, you find a lot of things on like that are obviously not related to Volta, obviously. So it just makes it harder to find things about this project. since vanilla is rather a common term, whereas Volta is, largely unknown.
So in terms of
I agree with you.
in terms of doing the work, is this Blaine? Is AT&T bringing something to bear on this, or is it sort of leveraging all the Volta people today?
We have a peer lab group. We're going to try to get engaged as well, and try to get some resources from that perspective. It's already got them kind of connected in, but I don't think they've started coding in yet. They are very focused in the GFAST and doing some Python coding for it, so I think it's a natural push to get them to do it into the Volta instead of creating one-off tools. And then we also we are trying to get some Tech Mahindra consultants that we've got at the company to also chip in on it, but that they were going back and checking to see if they can contribute based on our they're kind of loaned resources, so we've kind of got to manage our expectations with them.
Yeah.
But we'll probably add one in. I know Radithis is going to start stepping up too, and they have been with this project, and they're going to start trying to also pull in Calyx to help as well. So hopefully we'll get some additional contributors as part of this as well. And obviously AdTran too. And AdTran has finally kind of come around, so luckily. So that took a bit, and I know recently they're just going to add they've been adding resources for a while, and they're back on board with this too.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to present.
That.
So anyone else on the TST or online want to ask questions or comment?
Yeah, I have one question. Bringing G.fast into Volta, that involves changing the abstraction that Volta presents to the SDN controller, right? I mean, right now the PON is abstracted as a big kind of a pseudo Ethernet switch, right? And now you have one more layer beyond it. This is what Tom Anschutz keeps saying, right? So who's responsible for presenting this new abstraction, or at least creating stories for presenting this new abstraction to Volta? And how do you make sure that it still maintains the old GPON abstraction?
Wait, Saurav, why do you need to change the abstraction?
Because in G.fast you go one layer beyond, right? It's an extra branch hanging off of what is on the other end.
Yeah, but what's on the other end is another logical switch.
So you're saying G.fast is seamless? It can just be integrated and maintaining the same abstraction as PON?
Yeah. I mean, if you from the perspective of ONOS, you'll just see another logical switch. Ultimately, where that logical switch is physically wired in is the responsibility of Volta to maintain that mapping, which it does already for GPON, and has all the facilities to maintain that mapping for G.fast. Now, I mean, whether this will be this integration of G.fast will be 100% seamless, I can't answer, but I'm saying that the abstraction should hold, the kind of like the data store that we use in Volta is designed for this, right? So it's in a way tracks the hierarchy of devices, or the hierarchy of physical devices. So you should be okay. Now, I mean, Now we'll see going forward, but I'm pretty sure this will hold.
I added some stories in. I know you didn't see this, Saurabh. I'm sorry. I probably should have sent this to you as well. You want me, Larry? You said you were going to forward it on.
Yeah, everyone has it, but they haven't had it for a long time.
Okay.
So, Saurabh, I mean, questions, but are any basic problems with the rescoping?
No, I don't have any problems. I just wonder who's going to ensure that what Ali is saying, that the abstraction will hold and may not be seamless, but who's overlooking that?
From a Cord point of view, I would say that the biggest risk here, which is that Volta / vanilla grow to a point that the ONOS assumption no longer holds, which is kind of consistent with what you're saying, that you've got multiple northbounds, and there is a northbound explosion of some sort that, from a narrow Cord point of view, we kind of lose the advantage because it becomes all things to all people. But certainly in the narrow interpretation of where this is going, it seems just right. And like I said, I'm happy to say, yeah, let's approve this and defer to the Volta project as to whether they want to change the name or not.
Yeah. I wasn't so hard line on that and have to change the name, but
yeah, I
was,
understand. Is that not formally put forward as a proposal, but does that sound all right to the rest of the TST?
Yep.
I'm not hearing any objections, so I'm going to take that as a yes. I heard one yes.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah. Okay. So
bringing this in so quick.
Yeah, that, like you said, Ali said, this has been under consideration for some time, so it seems like a natural, obvious thing to do. So on the other topic, which is the expose collaborator proposal, I have a feeling we're not going to make much progress because I don't see any of the MCord folks on, and this is a collaboration with MCord. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to it a little bit, but you're right, I'm not as directly involved as others. I mean, in some sense, this is something that's already in place. The exposed team is with MCord in Barcelona right now, doing it, including this in the demo at MWC. So in that sense, it's an active, in place contribution, but I mean, I can't add much more detail beyond that.
So the only thing that I saw in the proposal that just caused me pause was the ownership, open source aspect of it. So this appears to be an app that will remain on the handheld device, but that will remain proprietary. But my interpretation is that it's leveraging what's happening within MCord, taking advantage of it.
So yes, the ownership part gave me pause too, and actually we've had this proposal for 3 weeks before I forwarded it on because we've had a bunch of back and forth with them about that section. They're going to remove that section that speaks about ownership. I mean, it's still proprietary, they're not opening it, but my understanding is we've had other proprietary bits of code that we've used in Cord, so that's not in and of itself a blocker.
No, it's not. Are they willing to let other people use some kind of evaluation license, or maybe it's $1.99 to get the app and it's not that big a deal?
Yeah, I mean, they're open to that sort of thing. They were just more concerned about it just being in a repo somewhere and that somebody could just walk off with it. And we had kind of some back and forth around how that's not necessarily going to be the case. Like there are ways that we could include their code in a demo without putting it in the Cord repo.
Yeah. I mean, we already do that sort of thing elsewhere. So as long as we can get access to the binaries for evaluation and demonstration, don't feel too strongly about that.
I mean, Marat would be able to speak to it. My understanding is they had a lot of concerns. They wanted to address it with the legal wording, and then we said, no, there's better ways to do it. And they had a conversation with Marat and were happy based on that conversation. So I don't know exactly what Marat told them, but
okay,
it put them at ease.
So are people comfortable enough with this proposal? Well, I guess we want that rewrite. So why don't we technically take it up next week, and then hopefully we'll have some of the MLab folks online and they can speak to it just a little bit more.
All right.
All right, is there anything else? Okay, thanks everybody. I think that's it. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.